Are we a pair? Me here at last on the ground, you in midair. Send in the clowns. Isn't it bliss? Don't you approve? One who keeps tearing around, one who can't move. Where are the clowns? Please send in the clowns. Just when I stopped opening doors, finally knowing the one I wanted was yours, making my entrance again with my usual flair, sure of my lines, no one is there. Don't you love farce? My fault, I fear. I thought that you'd want what I want. Sorry, my dear. But where are the clowns? There ought to be clowns. Don't bother, they're here. Isn't it rich? Isn't it queer? Losing my timing this late in my career. But where are the clowns? There ought to be clowns. Well, maybe next year.
You are listening to This Week in Clown World with Ben and Hobbs. So sit back, relax, take your black pill, and enjoy the show.
Send in the clowns.
Send in the clowns. Yes, that is a classic song from old Blue Eyes himself, Frank Sinatra. Wonderful song, and I think probably the theme song for the world that we live in right now. Send in the clowns. Where are clowns? There ought to be clowns. Don't bother. They're here. Couldn't have said it better myself. Welcome to the show, ladies, gentlemen, and extremists. I'm Hobbs. That's Ben. This is This Week in Clown World. How are you all today, Ben?
Let's just kick it off with our becoming a regular on the show. I guess our pedophile clown world update.
Yes, I haven't thought of a name for this segment. I want to work the British word nonce in there somewhere, but I don't know, like today in nonstum or noncery or what would be the proper term for it? You know,
I have no idea. We'll think of something using nonce.
Yeah, it's a good word. It's like I'm finding a word. Nonce.
Leave it to the Brits.
Yeah, nonce. It's a good word. Just kind of rolls off the tongue. But yeah, so a kind of a big deal. It was all over the media that I listen to, the San Francisco Gay Men's Choir, as if there's any other choir in San Francisco. They somebody thought it was a good idea to release a song about how they're coming for our kids. That's no. Let's not do that.
Yeah, if you haven't, I don't even want to play it. It's so cringy and gross. But I mean, I can see they were trying to be funny and sarcastic with it, but why would you even joke about that? Especially when you know that the right-wing media would just grab onto that, even if it was a joke. I just don't even understand what they were thinking. And it's such a cringy, gross. I don't even know. I mean, go listen to it. It's bad.
Yeah, we're not going to play it here, but it's not something that you can kind of take out of context or anything like that. And there are parts of the song where they're like, we're going to, how to be more loving and fair and all of this other stuff that's in there. But the chorus is like, it's we will convert your kids. We'll convert your kids, just over and over and over again. We are going to convert your kids. Like the very first verse, he talks about the gay agenda is coming for the children. And it's just, it's so bad.
Yeah. And I don't even, I mean, why would they even approve that? I just don't know. And they took it down too, didn't they?
Yeah. The backlash on it was so hard and so heavy that they decided to pull the video down. They issued an apology. They claim it was a joke, and it was a tongue-in-cheek reference, and how the "we're going to convert your kids" was all about, just kind of making them more accepting and tolerant, as if, the United States has a problem with gay people these days. And that's all well and good, and on its face, yeah, I can see it was a I'll give them credit if that was the true and sincere intent of it, then it was a clever joke, clever play on words, just very poorly executed.
Yeah, very. Well, that shows how out of touch people in California are with the rest of the country, that they would think that would be humorous to people outside of California.
Right. But this isn't the writers of the songs first brush with this of pedophile type material. And I don't know if you managed to find an article on. I sent a video to the shitposter group chat earlier today. Apparently, the two men who wrote this song wrote a play back in, I want to say, 2014, and it was just called Boy. And it was kind of a romanticization of the Afghani practice of I think it's like Boku Bazi, I think is the
Yeah, and I'll have to
Afghan
apologize.
term.
He told me it was a play called Boy, and I put in play and boy, and I just got off target completely.
Yeah.
In Google. My apologies on that one.
Yeah, but yeah, so they wrote this play, and then Baku Bazi, or whatever the term is, it's an Afghan phrase that literally means boy play. And it is an old practice of using prepubescent boys as sex slaves.
He's a pederast, Donnie.
That is correct. That is what it is. And apparently, boy play has kind of it fell out of favor back when the U.S. initially invaded Afghanistan, but it's kind of starting to make a comeback. And the remaining U.S. troops that still are stationed in Afghanistan have been sort of unofficially told to turn a blind. You'll remember a couple of years ago, a Green Beret soldier was arrested and charged, and I think ultimately acquitted, for beating piss out of an Afghan police chief who had a 10-year-old boy chained to his bed. Apparently, this man would rape this boy night. And the boy's screams got too much for this man to bear, and so he beat the shit out of him. and got arrested for it for causing an international incident.
Sometimes the jail time is just worth it.
Yes. Just remember, all cultures are beautiful and equal, right?
Right. That's it's weird that came up in a conversation I was having. How Afghans used to. I think it's somebody that watched the show and was talking about how pedophilia is getting normalized, and I think they were stationed in Afghan, and they mentioned that that in Afghanistan, they mentioned that was making a comeback over there. So I don't know if that's a Taliban thing or what. That it seems. I mean, is that? I mean, why would they decide that's a good idea? Is that something that comes out of the Quran or what? I wonder.
It's more of a cultural thing. I think it kind of predates Islam, but it was one of those things that just kind of rolled over.
A leftover from King Xerxes, huh?
Maybe it was to a lesser extent, but it also happened in Iraq. I've told the story on the show with Nathan about how two local nationals that were working on our fob on my first deployment, we ended up finding out that they had a 14-year-old boy that they were using for sex in exchange for protection.
And
we were cleaning out an old what?
Go ahead, you cut out for a second.
Oh, I said we found out when we were cleaning out an old closet, and I found a half-empty can of grease, and one of these guys wanted it, and through broken English and we deduced that they wanted to use this can of automotive grease to fuck this kid, and needless to say, he ended up with like Amnesty International or something, and these two men were not welcome back on the fob after that.
Yeah, not to pick on the Persian area. I mean, Greeks and Romans were renowned for that also. But that was almost 2,000 years ago. Get with the times.
Yeah, product of their times, I guess. Yeah, and I guess the justification in the Islam is highly homophobic. They'll throw gays off of buildings and stuff, but they justify this behavior as far as I can understand it. I'm probably wrong, but this is my understanding of it is that they view women for marriage and procreation, and boys are for pleasure.
Well, that's the exact Roman and
yeah,
Grecian stance also. It's weird how that carries over there. Maybe it was from the old days of the Byzantium Empire pushing to the east. I don't
anything's possible. I'm not a historian or anything, but yeah, they get around it by like if two men engage in sex just to get their rocks off, that's fine. But if two men love each other and want to have like an exclusive marriage type relationship, then it's off of a fifth story roof with them. So it's like, hey, you want to give me a bro job? And it's like, okay.
they gotta say no homo when they're done, or they die.
Yeah, exactly. The no homo rule is in effect in the Middle East. Do whatever you want, just gotta say no homo at the end of it.
Or they'll catch the gay, much like we're gonna catch new COVID variants, apparently.
Good segue.
Yeah.
Slide that right in there. Yeah, so the Delta variant is getting all of the news, but apparently they're just popping the cork on a whole bottle of Greek alphabet soup to hit us with the Lambda variant next. Ooh,
shit, what did I say? I said we should talk about the COVID variants like Delta, and you said, oh, we're up to Lambda.
Yeah. I think we skipped past Epsilon and whatever else is in the middle there. Or maybe they're just like, they got like a 20-sided die with all the Greek letters on it. And they just shake it and they're like, what are we on now? Fucking Sigma. Okay, let's go.
Well, these variants though, I mean, what did I see the study that basically said they're not as deadly, but they're more easily infectious. Which it's like, duh, that's how viruses work. I mean, no virus becomes more deadly because then it'll quit spreading.
Yeah, it mutates and it spreads that way. One of the interesting things that I heard today was that of the Delta strain hospitalizations in Israel, 83% of the people who were hospitalized with Delta strain were fully vaccinated. So,
It's kind of interesting that they're getting hot. I wonder if it's the same core group that's getting hospitalized from this variant. I didn't see any stats on that.
I don't know. The Israel one was the only thing that I heard.
Well, I think I saw today that Nebraska, where we're located, that's now the most widely spread strain also.
News to things are business as usual around here.
Yeah, well, and the story also said Nebraska has the highest percentage increase of COVID in the country. It's like, well, we were near the bottom. So anything that pops up is going to boost us up there towards the top. I don't know. I'm just sick of it. I don't even care anymore. I don't think anybody around here cares.
No, and that's the thing. It's like, who are you going to believe? These stats on the news or your own lying eyes? Like, nothing has changed here. I'm not seeing hospitalizations. I'm not seeing people doubled over in coughing fits. The only people that I see wearing masks are the very, very old, and that's fine. Go right ahead. Those are the people about the only demographic that are truly vulnerable to it. So, I don't have a problem with that at all.
I mean, they should probably wear one anyways. I mean, a lot of old people die from the flu even. I mean, if you're old, maybe consider a mask just as your regular going out process.
Yeah.
Or just live your life and die. You're already old.
Yeah. That's one way to look at it. But yeah, there's a interesting theory floating around the darker corners of the interwebs about how COVID-19 is a hoax and all of these deaths are just influenza, that they just decided to make up a disease, and because the flu deaths were way down this year.
Yeah, they were almost non-existent, weren't they?
Exactly.
I mean, even going with the other side of that, maybe they're way down because masks are what keep the flu from spreading around. So sure, say that. I mean, don't say it's maybe they should just tell people, hey, apparently masks keep the flu from spreading. Wear a mask if you think you're going to be sick.
Yeah, or just get sick and build up a natural immunity for it.
Yeah. Well, we got a comment over. There's Brazilian and Indian cases in York County.
Yeah, well, I thought we weren't supposed to call it where it came from.
Oh, yeah. That's one of the no words. You can't call it where.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, based Epoch Times, do you read that one at all? They still call it the CCP virus.
Well, of course they do. They're the people that founded that paper are from China. They're very, very anti-communist China.
Yeah, that's one of the news sources I go to. To try and get my fair and balance from all sides of the spectrum.
Yes.
So this variant's getting so bad, everybody's going to die from it. They're going to start going door to door, I guess, making sure we're vaccinated. I don't understand was that just an off the cuff comment, or did you watch the actual video of it?
Jen Psaki said something that we would have possibly community or door to door wellness checks or whatever, vaccine contact tracers or whatever, and the internet kind of exploded at her. And then Biden said basically the exact same thing the next day. So it wasn't just an off the cuff remark. This seems to be some type of internal policy proposal.
What the fuck? That seems like an impossible thing to even implement. How are you gonna go door to door?
Well, it's the thing is that I don't think that they will go door to door to every house in America. I think that you've got your when you go and you get a vaccine, don't you sign up for it? Don't you put down your address and name and everything when you get jabbed? I don't know. I haven't got it, and I don't have any intent of getting it either.
I just had my name down. My brother went and got it somewhere, and they didn't even give him a card. He just came back, and they're like, "Which shot are you on?" He's like, "My second one," and they poked him, and he never got anything else from it. So I have no idea how they're tracking who had it, and it's the card you get. It'd be so easy to counterfeit. You could make it in a couple minutes. I think for a while there was templates floating around the internet of those cards that you could just fill out yourself.
Yeah, might be a new profit venture for the website.
I don't know that. Yeah. That's typical progressive thinking. They come up with an idea and just throw it out there and think it'll do good, and don't think about any of the consequences or how much it'll cost or anything else.
Yeah, my greater conspiracy theory about all of this is that all of these things taken in isolation just look like ignorant and dogmatic adherence to demonstrably flawed ideologies and policies. However, when aggregated together, it's almost like they're trying to provoke some type of violent response from somebody, with the constant in-your-face pedophilia push, the globo homo gay shilling that was going on all last month, the vaccine contact tracing, the propaganda, just the non-stop cringy propaganda, combined with the threat now of like door-to-door, knock knock knock, we're with the Church of Fauci, have you received the sacrament of the jab, or whatever, and all of the gaslighting. When you just come together, you're like, no, like I keep saying all the time, nobody is this consistently wrong on accident.
So, well, it seems like the people that buy into the whole thing, it's very comforting to them. It lets them be that, that Ralph Wiggum, I'm helping. They don't really do anything, but they get vaccinated, they wear a mask everywhere, they dye their hair green or blue or pink, put a rainbow flag all over everything, and they feel like they're helping, when actually they haven't done anything at all.
Right. It's virtue signaling.
And that might be by design. They give them it's like when your kids are small and you want to get them out of your hair, you give them some pointless task to do to keep them busy. I mean, maybe they're just trying to keep all these progressives busy so they don't actually see what a shitbag Joe Biden and his regime are. And because, that's the group that wants to stay in power. They can't have their progressive realizing what's really going on, that he's just blue MAGA. So give him something to do to distract him while we do whatever we want.
Yeah, and it's blowing back terribly on everybody. I mean, the inflation's going through the roof. Price of everything is out of control. Yeah, that's what I was. You know where I'm going with it.
The upside of inflation.
Higher wages.
All right.
Yeah, you're going to get paid more because your money is worth less, and then that would be fine if the price of goods wasn't going up concurrently, but you're absolutely fucked. That
CNBC story, I saw that and I thought of that Practical Jokers meme where they're like, it's the two guys, get her to say. She had two editors. He's like, get Jennifer to write a story saying the upside of inflation is higher wages. And she actually does it. Oh shit. They changed it pretty quick too. The story title, they changed it to it wasn't upside, it had a cheerful look forward to inflation title when it first came out, and then it became inflation, while having many downsides, may cause higher wages.
It's like, oh shit, that original headline made us look really, really dumb.
And and they changed it, and they still got flamed for it.
Oh, and they absolutely will get flamed for it, and they deserve every ounce of it. Speaking of people who are getting flamed for stupid decisions, the FBI decided to step in it.
Take a Lego set?
Yeah, so everybody out there at home, you know how sometimes you see your local cops and they post one of their trophy pictures of, oh, we pulled a guy over and he had like a little baggie of weed, and you got like 4 guys standing around a table kitted up like they're about to halo drop into Fallujah or some shit, standing around a little baggie of dope on the break room table down at the precinct or whatever, and they're of this, this big bust, criminal mastermind with his personal bag of weed or whatever, and the comments are always just flaming them or whatever. Worse. This is much, much worse. Because apparently, the FBI, another person who was involved in the January 6th insurrection, and horror, gasp, he had a Lego model of the Capitol, and it was assembled. Whoa!
Boy, think of the strategic planning you can do with a Lego model.
Exactly, because everybody knows that the Lego model of the Capitol building is a 1-for-1 scaled down representation of the Capitol building, floor plans complete down to the tiniest minute detail.
Down to the secret tunnels, the missile turrets that pop out the top.
The panic rooms.
Yeah.
And Ben, I don't know if you've ever been to the Capitol building before, but the Capitol building does have those cylindrical raised portions in equally spaced areas so that you can set your congressman down and they won't tip over.
So I wonder which Lego men they confiscated along with that too.
Definitely. The Speaker of the House was probably represented by some kind of pirate. I'm assuming.
I'm gonna guess there was a buffalo headdress Lego man in there. I mean, seriously, what were they? Why? I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. Clown World, right there.
Right. If the guy, printed out from the National Archives the floor plan of the Capitol and had like the Charlie Day style conspiracy wall,
right,
with everything with like ring pointing to things and call signs written on pieces of scratch paper or whatever, then that would make sense. But the dude had a Lego set of the Capitol that anybody off of Amazon, and they're using this as like proof positive that he was planning something's rotten in Lego.
That's just beyond the pale on that one.
Yeah, and predictably the news media ran with it because they can't help but be clown themselves.
Many Lego men to bring us this information.
Yeah. Yes. Rip in peace.
I just can't help but wonder if there's a little orange-headed Lego man instead of that's Trump. Instead of the yellow, they've got little orange-headed Lego man at a podium.
Yeah, they had to replace the Lego man's head with like a Lego traffic cone because they couldn't get an orange one. Yeah,
at his podium with a whip leading the insurrection into the Capitol, I'm sure.
Oh, I'm sure. Speaking
of fuckery in the Capitol, we had the Tucker Carlson story, which think what you will about Tucker Carlson. He's not a fan. I'm not a fan of his sometimes, but it was really bad what happened. The NSA decided to read his emails. I didn't see the story. How did the NSA even realize he was trying to get a hold of Putin, or they're probably listening to all sorts of Russian diplomats and saw Tucker Carlson pop up? Okay, so this is kind of a complex explanation here, but the NSA has a foreign surveillance
and they have targeted lists of foreign operatives, foreign agents, foreign citizens that they are authorized to listen in on and surveil and collect the data on. In the event that a U.S. citizen is corresponding with one of these foreigners, their data, their correspondence is hoovered up, and internally amongst the NSA, when you have these transcripts of their conversations or their emails or text messages or whatever, the foreigner their name will appear as their name. However, it is illegal to name the U.S. citizen. They are just, U.S. citizen 1 or U.S. journalist 1 or whatever, unless a formal application to reveal who that U.S. citizen is filed and approved by the director of the NSA. This is called unmasking. Now, what makes the Tucker Carlson thing so egregious is the fact that when the seized emails were leaked to sympathetic journalists outside of the NSA, Tucker was unmasked. So somebody either illegally unmasked him to leak these emails out to the media, or the NSA director approved an internal unmasking, and the internally unmasked documents were then illegally leaked to the media. Now, there's also another person who explained that the NSA has tools at their disposal on the internet, because the internet it's global, it's meshed, and the NSA has some very slimy methods that they use to get around the ability to suck up domestic electronic communications. What did he call it? He called it traffic shaping. So, like, say for instance, I sent an email to you. Where we live in the same state, we're not that far away, but the NSA, for one reason or another, wanted to spy on you or me. They couldn't get a FISA warrant to do it because we're not corresponding with a foreign intelligence asset. We're just, it's just you and me. So the thing that the NSA does with this traffic shaping is rather than my email going from my computer to a server in Nebraska to your computer, they will use the tools at their disposal to reroute that email to a server in a foreign country before it comes back. And now suddenly it's a foreign correspondence. It is subject to being sucked up by the NSA. And that's how they get around it with traffic shaping.
That's dirty.
That is very slimy, and something should be done about that.
Nothing will.
Nope.
Spoiler alert, nothing will. That just goes to show how much info they can just grab at will, though.
Well, they collect all of it. The Snowden releases proved that the NSA doesn't actually target specific people. They collect everything, and if they come up with a reason why they need to get specific things, they'll go into their treasure chest of goodies and dig out what they have. But they have everything, which is terrifying.
Well, I'm sure whatever NSA guy was watching for those emails, he was probably looking at the rest of Tucker Carlson's traffic. So who's to say they wouldn't try and release something else? Like, ooh, Tucker's into I don't know, into fat girls, or I don't know. I mean, Tucker Carlson likes looking at this nasty porn. Release that to the whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah, the thing is that that's the sort of thing that they were looking for, and to his credit, Tucker seems to be a pretty squeaky clean guy as far as that front goes. But the thing that they were going to do is they were going to release these correspondences between Tucker Carlson and a member of the Russian government. Tucker was trying to get an interview with Vladimir Putin, which, as a journalist, trying to interview a newsworthy guy like Putin on its face is not that big of a deal. but they were going to try and say, "Ooh, Tucker Carlson's emails were leaked to MSNBC, ergo he's a Russian asset." Before Tucker'd be like, "Hey, we got Vladimir Putin coming up next week. Tune in." So they were going to frame the narrative as he was maybe doing something insidious and evil, and it's just. Yeah, somebody down here says Tails Linux with Tor and signals equals come at me, bro.
I don't know.
Yeah, you can believe that. I don't know what half of those things are.
I'm going to say they've got back doors into that stuff.
Yeah, if you want to go back through our catalog and find my interview with the late great John McAfee, yeah, he'll say that that's not no.
Yeah.
If you're online, you have no privacy.
Well, did you see where the government had all those? They like got a informant under their wing. They created a whole company that was making special phones for organized crime to use. Did you see that story?
I think I remember. Yeah,
this was recent. Yeah, they made the federal government made special phones with an app in it for organized crime to use, and they had this high level member of organized crime, and he was selling all these phones like on the black market to all these crime families, and meanwhile they were made and cracked and loaded with all sorts of shit from the federal government, and they saw everything.
Oh yeah.
So I'm sure that might be the case with any sort of encryption and signal. Tor is like I think I'm thinking the right thing, a VPN client to shoot you around the world, but I mean, apparently they can sniff all that traffic. I don't know. I wouldn't feel safe trying to hide anything on the internet from the government.
Yeah, just a quick segue over to
Mr. McAfee. Yeah.
Well, before we go over to McAfee, yeah, but as far as internet security goes, everybody wants to talk about the security of cryptocurrencies. You remember the Colonial Pipeline hack that happened last month, the ransomware hack? Well, apparently the FBI got all of that Bitcoin back. So either A, Bitcoin wallets are not as encrypted and secure
surprise
as we've been, or B, the FBI was behind the hack in the first place and they just deposited Bitcoin into their own wallet.
I want to say the Bitcoin is not as secure as everybody pretends it is.
Yeah.
I've heard multiple people say that before, and I think McAfee used to say that about Bitcoin also, as far as being an untraceable transaction.
Yeah, it's not untraceable.
Well, good, because it seems like they hardly ever get that money back. And did you hear the main reason why that had shut down? It wasn't that they had their systems shut down. Did you hear why? They had their billing system shut down, so they wouldn't be able to bill people for the gas going out.
That's new to me. I didn't hear that.
Yeah.
No,
so
but when that happened, a lot of pipeline workers called into Alex Jones that day, and they're like, "Yeah, if they'd shut down the switching," he's like, "it's not a matter of it's all automated, but anybody can go out there and manually throw those switches. These pipelines shouldn't be shut down for more than a couple of hours."
Yeah, that's what it was. They shut down the billing system, and they didn't want to lose their money on keeping track of what was going out to be able to bill it. It's like, damn, you could have just brought that up to the government. They probably would have printed off a pile of money to cover it instead of causing all the panic and shit.
Yeah, so the solution is to shut down the pipeline, jump the price of petroleum up even higher, inconvenience a lot of people, pay $5 million in ransom in Bitcoin to alleged Russians. Come on.
Well, the Bitcoin, they wouldn't, that'd be on their insurance policy. So they probably didn't care about paying that.
Yeah, the whole thing was
But not
was
being able to track who's being billed for what, that's money they won't get back.
yeah, that seems
So
like greed to me.
yeah. Crony capitalism for the win, I guess.
I guess.
I mean, we've talked about McAfee twice here now. We had somebody we talked about it on Bitcoin. I mean, what's the updates on the McAfee situation?
His wife, Janice, is not convinced of the suicide story. I don't know if dig up her official release or not. You might be able to pull it up faster than I can. But yeah, so for a few days, trying to cope with everything that happened. For the people who've been living under a rock, former presidential candidate and just all around world's most interesting man, committed suicide a couple of weeks ago in his Spanish jail cell when he found out that he was going to be extradited back to the United States to face charges of tax evasion and tax fraud. His wife Janice came out with a statement the other day stating
I think I got it here. Let me
yes, go ahead and see if you can. He the Spanish government says that he had a suicide note in his pocket that she was not made aware of, and it was not in his personal effects when she went to go pick them up.
well, I mean,
So the
she
whole
makes
thing
a good
stinks.
point. There's been no autopsy report, no death certificate. I mean, how long?
Yeah,
How long does it take to rule him as dead?
yeah. So I
That
said, that's anything is possible with McAfee. He could be out and about and alive right now, faked his death. He's got the
I mean, that's my leading theory. If this
yeah.
ends up being a conspiracy theory that he paid off the right people in the Spanish prison and he's not there anymore.
Yeah.
I mean,
The-
I wonder if Janice has even had a photo of his body. She obviously hasn't been able to see his body.
yeah. Yes, it's an insane story. But then like I told my friend, it's also equally possible that McAfee spends years and years telling everybody online and in person that he's not suicidal, he's not going to kill himself,
A long
and then he's
con.
like, yeah, and then like the time comes and he's like, I'm just going to fuck with everyone on my way out the door, and kills himself. Just to get a good laugh on his way out. It's like, this will keep him guessing.
Yeah, and then there was the terabytes of data that I haven't seen any updates on that. Have you?
No, I heard that the hash code to an Ethereum wallet that had a whole bunch of shit, but I haven't seen any of this shit.
Yeah, and kind of in the same corner of the world where John McAfee originally had his issues, the president of Haiti got gunned down. I mean, damn, they're just, and it was kind of sketchy too. I guess they got into the compound by saying they were at the DEA,
yeah,
and then they just started lighting people up. And people said it looked like a bunch of mercenaries. They were speaking English and Spanish, while the official language of Haiti is French and some Creole language that has been there for centuries. But here we had English and Spanish people saying you can watch the video and you can kind of hear him. It's very good English where he says we're with the DEA. So somebody hired some mercenaries, or it was the DEA.
Yeah. Anything is likely. There's the conspiracy corners of the internet are saying that Haiti is one of 3 countries in the world that said absolutely no COVID-19 vaccines will be allowed in the country. And of those 3, Haiti, Tanzania, and I forget what the other one was, all 3 of their presidents have
Been assassinated.
yeah.
Oh boy.
President of Tanzania, the guy I believe who submitted tissue samples from a goat and a
Oh,
papaya.
that guy. Yeah.
Yeah, just to prove PCR tests were ramped up to cycle test numbers that would prove positive for anything on anything. So he said like papaya and something else, and they all came back COVID positive. And he's like, these aren't even human tissue samples. A couple weeks later, he's dead.
Well, it'd be interesting if the person that replaced him was all pro COVID at that point.
Yeah.
I mean, that would never make the news.
Yeah, we'd have to do a little more digging than we tend to do on these sorts of things.
Yeah.
We're just kind of an off the cuff shit talking Thursday night podcast for all of you lovely people out there.
What was the third one? You said Tanzania, Haiti, and who?
I forget who the other one was. But yeah, apparently, 3 world leaders rejecting the COVID vaccine, 3 world leaders dead under mysterious circumstances. So
It's just a coincidence.
It's got to be just a coincidence. It really makes you wonder, though. It's like, if it really was this good, would their propaganda be this necessary?
Lambda variant papaya.
The papaya variant is coming to get us all.
Well, the people probably making the calls on if those guys should be killed, they were meeting in Idaho this week.
Yep, there we go. That's the big enchilada. Yes, apparently there's a Bilderberg-style meeting going on in Sun Valley, Idaho, where a who's list of billionaires is shown up to just have summer camp, roast some marshmallows, hang out, make some s'mores, totally not set the agenda for the world of next year. No, wow, crazy. Pitch a tent, tie some knots, go fishing. Be fun.
I mean, yeah, why wouldn't they talk about their nefarious plans over the internet? I mean, it's not like somebody could intercept the information.
That should tell you everything you need to know about electronic communications, that if the richest, most connected people in the world with every ounce of encryption and technological advances at their fingertips would rather fly halfway around the world and meet in person than send an email, that should tell you something.
Yep. Hatching their plans around a campfire in Idaho. That's where the real magic is going to happen, I guess.
I guess, at least they're not, naked and having sodomy in front of a giant stone owl.
You don't know they're not doing that. It is Idaho.
Yeah. Who knows with these people?
A giant russet potato statue there.
I can just see them all sitting around the campfire. Bill Gates looks over and goes,
"Hey, Warren, would you please pass me the graham cracker so I can make my s'more?" Oh, hey, by the way, did you see that the Delta variant is hitting the Midwest super hard?
I mean, they had every mover and shaker on the planet there pretty much.
Yeah.
In Idaho.
Yep.
Which is now rapidly approaching California as places I never want to go to.
Right.
Which is sad.
It is. It's beautiful country up there. And a lot of idiots are driving the real estate market through the goddamn roof.
Yeah, I don't know why everybody from California. Weren't you the one with the theory about California's just making these progressives and sending them out to the country on purpose? That's their plan, or was that somebody else?
I had something about that. There are Democrat, or not Democrat, but like progressive nonprofits and whatnot that have plans of moving, almost like crowdsourcing the cost of moving and real estate investment for activists who have no problem of, just packing up and moving somewhere else.
Mhm.
There was what was it called? There was like the Blue Texas Initiative that
Right.
was like an online mutual aid type of thing where it's like, hey, you want to leave California and go to Texas? We'll help you move. If you can't afford to move, we'll help you move. We'll help you find a house. We'll do everything necessary. All you got to do when you get there is vote for progressive candidates. There's no way to make sure that they follow through on it. I mean, it just as easily somebody like me take advantage of it, bilk them out of their money, and be like,
Right.
yeah, I'm still voting libertarian. Go fuck yourself.
Well, I think Idaho's been lost at this. Don't they have a Democratic governor even in Idaho? Seems kind of odd. I think Idaho's lost at this point. I would wonder if next up's Montana.
Yeah, they just seem to have like this kind of like creeping vine of shitty policies and people just kind of.
They seem to really like majority white states.
Yeah. Imagine that.
But the problem with when these people move in, when Californians move into these areas, they push out the rational people. Like I see it a lot on this side of the state. All the people coming up from Colorado because Colorado's become California Junior. I mean, downtown Denver's about turning into San Francisco at this point.
Yeah, it's the Portland.
Yeah, but I don't know. Whatever. I don't know what to do. What do you do about that problem?
Build a wall, a big beautiful wall.
There's a popular bumper sticker over in Wyoming. It says Colorado, Wyoming's Mexico.
Oh, yeah, it's funny because it's true.
Yeah, I think Wyoming will remain largely immune to the progressive creep. They're just so friggin' at the other end of the spectrum over there.
Well, nothing in Wyoming. It's just wide open nothing.
What do we got here? Lily White Democratic Socialist Republic of Vermont. Yeah.
Yeah.
They never try to implement their policies in a state with a large amount of minorities. I don't know if it's because they're racist or what.
I don't know. It's because they figure they've already got those demographics on lock, and they don't need to. But you look at all the places where the upper middle class, these lily white democratic socialists are fleeing from the big cities, the LAs, the Sacramentos, and spreading out into Idaho, Montana, Colorado, and whatnot. These are places that have been ruined by these progressive policies. What were they talking about the other day? Some big city is about to become the next Detroit because it's just been gutted.
I don't know. I can't help but think that there's some I was looking at there's some racist undertone here because I was looking at all those pictures, all these people strolling into this Idaho meetup. There wasn't one person of color in that whole group.
Yeah, it's crazy, and they do when they go to these big meetups, they do go to these
Switzerland.
Remote majority, like almost exclusively white, nice areas to hatch their schemes.
The KKK never went away. It just registered Democrat.
They've always been Democrat.
Yeah. I guess they have, haven't they?
Yeah.
They're openly Democrat now.
Yep.
So, we got any other clown world news we need to throw out there?
I'm sure that there is. Nothing is really coming to my mind right now. The border is still an absolute mess.
They haven't done anything.
Yeah, Canada and Australia seem to be jockeying neck and neck to be the most authoritarian shitholes in the world. You know, it's like they put on the happy face of, you know, the two countries in the Anglosphere that are generally regarded as being the most laid back and friendliest people are also now just like batshit crazy authoritarian hellscapes.
Well, and Canada kind of got called out on the whole. I mean, United States was up front with their genocide of Native Americans in the past. They they hunted them down and killed them on the reservations. But Canadians were the friendly ones. They sent them to schools to get an education. Turns out, no, they didn't.
I don't know. I don't know if I believe that whole story that's coming out. You know, these schools they had like 100 and I think I read somewhere that they throughout the course of their existence they existed for well over 100 years. They had over 150,000 students cycle through them. They were oftentimes connected to or on church property. And what is next to pretty much every church ever?
I'm suspect automatically because the Roman Catholic Church is involved.
Well, yeah, but I think that what we might be seeing here is yet another divide and conquer tactic, or this bizarre self-flagellation that Western societies seem to be going through right now, where you got the Canadian government is flying over tribal lands using ground penetrating radar next to these schools and churches, finding a bunch of dead bodies in the ground and calling them mass graves. They're fucking graveyards. Every church ever has a graveyard next to it. Are these mass graves or are these cemeteries?
Well,
That's the
Australia
question.
kind of did the same thing. I mean, it seemed to me that in the past, Canada was always kind of uppity about their treatment of the natives when they were as bad or worse than United States was. The United States made treaties with them and broke them eventually, but Canada just shipped them off and I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if it was some nefarious scheme to get rid of native kids.
Maybe.
I mean,
guess.
that's how Australia did it with Aborigines.
Yeah. Time will tell.
Yep. They gonna learn today. Somebody put over there. Yeah, they they learned for sure.
Yep.
Well, that's all we have, I think, then for this week on Clown World.
Yeah. Pretty good episode. We had some good segues in there, man. That was slick.
You know, I would like to have 1 week where we don't have a pedo Clown World update, but we'll see.
Nonce.
We'll see if it can happen. I've had the sticky note up here the whole time. Roads and number2liberty.com. Check it out. Buy a shirt, please. Our sales have dropped off. I don't know if it's summer or what, but not a lot of shirt sales going on. If you think the shirts suck and we need new ones, let us know that too. We'll maybe work on some new designs, but there's some good designs on there, still relevant. That's all I have for closeout. Thanks.
This week I don't have a guest. You got baseball tickets Saturday, don't you?
Yep.
So and we got these concert things that go on Friday nights here in my town. So observations will be moved to Saturdays when producer Ben is not doing something. So I think this week we don't have a guest. Next week, are you free on Saturday?
I believe so. 24th.
All right.
Yep.
Yeah. So next week we will maybe.
I lied. I'm going camping.
Oh, okay. Well, shit. Okay. We'll
it's
just
summer,
kind of
man. It's summer.
Yeah, there you go. We'll just play it by ear then. You'll get the next observation when you get it, and be happy.
Thanks for watching.